Okay, well, thanks everyone for joining me. My name is Don Carson. I'm up in Kenora, Ontario, Canada, actually, which for many of you, um, you might be familiar with because it's a lake that actually crosses into the United States. For my U.S. friends that are on the Zoom today or watching this recording, in fact, I can go from our dock, my wife and I today, take our boat and go 60 miles on the lake and go down to Baudette, Minnesota, and have lunch, for example. So just give you kind of an idea of where this is. So, this area is kind of central Canada. And so for us, we live in Winnipeg and we come to our lake home, which is about 2 hours and 15 minutes away, just to give you a kind of a geography of, and I'm an ex-geography teacher, so I had to do that. But folks, today's topic is about the compensation plan and some of the words that many of you are asking questions of. And in fact, the support team, let's just put it this way: they're not compensation plan experts yet, but they are definitely understanding of it, and many of them are in the learning phase as well. So I appreciate all of you being patient when they're doing the learning and they're doing the asking themselves to make sure that they're not giving you the wrong information. So today, what I'd like to do is really go to work as a kind of a teacher and just share with you my thoughts on the intricacies of our compensation plan and how each of you can look at trying to rank advance. And the key to rank advancing that you're going to learn today more and more is about volume. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to go to work. And I've got my good friend, Robert, down in Florida, who's going to let you folks in. So let's just make sure that when I get to this page here, you guys can all see this. Let me make this from the start. Let's get this blown up. Just to key in here, can anybody show me? Jimmy, can you show me a thumb up? Can you?
That looks good.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so I wanted to give you all an overview, if I could, on the most important sort of buckets of our compensation plan, and just to give you another idea of just how strong this is. For those of you that watch this recording after, and if you listen to some of the questions again answered, let's just think of this as a team effort today to learn and earn, right? So there are a number of different little things about it. It's called business volume, which is BV, PV, which is personal volume, QV, which is qualifying volume, group QV, which is your group qualifying volume. So the folks in the entire organization that are below you in the team that is either on your left or your right would be considered group qualifying volume. And then there's one called EQV, which you'll start seeing a little bit about, which is the things that you encourage to happen in that leg. So that's the qualifying volume that you enrolled. So you enrolled a qualifying volume team member who enrolled another team member who enrolled a customer who sponsored somebody who bought product. And well, that all counts as qualifying volume because it was part of the enrollment team. So there is a difference between group QV and EQV because group QV is everybody. Doesn't matter who enrolled them, doesn't matter who sponsored them, it's group. It's the group of people on your left team or your right team. And for purposes of those of you that might be jumping on here, have never even looked at our compensation plan, let me just give you two buckets. We are a dual team structure, binary type compensation plan. Dual team is sometimes a description of a binary being bi, which is two. So binary meaning two teams. And for us, we think of a left team and a right team. And when you understand the benefits of a binary compensation plan, the benefit is you're not alone. It's a complete team effort. You're trying to drive a amount of volume from the entire people that may have been encouraged to join that leg. So, for example, if I was to be fortunate enough to have sponsored, Jimmy Weiss, let's say, and Jimmy comes in on my left team. Well, I'm going to probably put somebody else on that left team. So Jimmy's going to benefit from me putting somebody else on that left team. And that becomes group volume for him. It becomes group volume for me. But for me, it's also what I would call enrollment qualifying volume because I encouraged somebody to join that team. So if I brought in Jimmy and then Jimmy brings in Bill, well, Bill is part of that group volume for everybody above in the organization, but it's also part of the EQV for me and Jimmy because somebody connected to me enrolled Bill. So that that EQV is part of the overall part of the package that I was connected to as a sponsor. So it really doesn't matter where you are in a tree or in a leg. per se. It just means, are you going to go to work? So for purposes of making sure that you understand, I'm sharing with you stuff that does not guarantee you anything. I'm giving you a complete idea here of how our compensation plan works, but you aren't guaranteed to make a dollar. I mean, that's the truth of the matter. I mean, we want to make you understand it's your efforts. It's the ability for you to understand what to do when you point, click, and share with our incredible program that's coming. And let me just say this as well at this point of this recording. Next Saturday, the corporate team led by Dave will be doing the Zoom at 11. So it'll be a corporate Zoom, and that's as we head into what we believe is the launching of the company officially, so to speak, with the shopping cart getting close to be opening for sure in September, and the rest of the things that Dave wants to share. And that'll be next Saturday, okay? That'll be a corporate Zoom led by our CEO and owner, Dave Jordan. So these five things on the screen, we're going to kind of dig into now if we can. So dual team commissions. I was just sort of giving reference to the term binary or dual team. And for us, it's either a left or a right team. So the first thing you need to do when you're enrolled by your friend or a family member or somebody who maybe marketed you and you got interested in this program is to ask them, hey, what team am I in? Am I in your right team or your left team? It's good for you to do that for a couple of reasons, because we want you to contribute to the team that you joined. In other words, if you joined on my right team, the goal should be that you're going to add some value to the fact you're in a team. And remember, there are people above you in that team as well. So you're not as alone ever. The key is we're looking for effort. We're looking for contribution. We're looking for a learn and earn attitude. This is not a get rich quick scheme. This is truly a home-based business that allows you to drive volume based on your effort and a team's effort. So dual team can be the most exciting way for you to ever be involved in a business like this, because you're not alone as a rule. So pick the team or join with somebody and determine what team you're in. So that's the basics of a dual team commission structure. Now, when you start looking at how everything gets loaded volume-wise, okay, and that's where I'm at right now, is I'm trying to share with you, some sample order sizes that all of you have seen in our compensation plan. We don't sell packs, okay? We don't. We're not a buy a rank position company. This is truly a compensation plan driven by volume of customers and members that also bring in customers and members. So it's a complete qualify by effort business. Now, don't get me wrong, because it's a team build, you do have the advantage of group volume or group QV happening as a result of the team above you that are bringing in members and customers, plus your new members bringing in customers and members. So group QV is very important for what we call rank advancement. Now, when you look at this basic chart here that I'm sharing right now, which is, what is a retail reward? Well, a retail reward is the basics of what we do in Collect Direct. For all of you, when you have a customer that buys something from our website, and in September, that something could be a $2.98 item, could be a little mini something that you want to put on your desk, or something that somebody really would love to have from their past, bringing it to their future. So the prices on our shopping cart and currently Dave shared with me is over $7,500 now, heading to $8,000, which you'll have by September for our launch with our shopping cart. Now, as I shared with you just recently, we wanted your expectations to be realistic in terms of the shopping cart date opening. So we said, look, we don't want to over promise and under deliver. So what Dave said is, we're going to get that shopping cart ready to go by September 10th to the 15th, somewhere in there. And the reason why we've held it back just slightly is because he's loading all of these exciting items, and he's also locating all of those items in the warehouses, so that when the shippers go to pick what you could have in your shopping cart, which could be one item to maybe 30 items, to build a shopping cart amount. Let's say your shopping cart amount you wanted was you're willing to order $300 worth of something. Well, let's use this page as a learning tool for now. Look at the sample order size on the left. It says $29.98. Now, That could be a combination of a number of items that add up to $29.98. Now, what Dave and his team has done is he's taken every item and he's given it some form of retail reward value from 50 cents, in this example up there, up to $200. It says paid weekly and up. Why and up? Because Dave is going to be putting 2,000, 3,000, 5,000, eventually 10,000 and more dollar items available on the front of our website, so that the retail reward will be considerably higher on that than $200. But what I don't want any of you to do is to do the math of, okay, I can see as a $29.98 sample, the retail reward is $5. You see the column 4 over, retail reward bonus paid on volume, $5. It's not that number 5 divided by $29.98, which is the percentage of every item that will be in the shopping cart. You see, the purchase price for Dave to acquire these items is completely different across the board. But I can tell you this, he's a very fair owner, CEO. He's doing this to create a legacy for all of us. He is definitely all in and continuing to buy more collections from around the globe, in particular United States, that get surfaced, that makes sense. So the retail reward amount will change for every item. So that means it's going to be you adding to a shopping cart, and the company will pay you based on the amount of retail reward volume they put for that item altogether. So if you generated $60 worth of things, it might be approximately $10. If you generated $350 worth of things, look at the math there. Look at $279.98 sample pays out $50. Well, $350 may pay out $60. It may pay more. So don't worry about that. Just know that it's embedded into every item in the shopping cart. So retail rewards are important, but what's really important for our explanation today is the fact that there's business volume, which is BV, and every item in the shopping cart. Currently, we have a sample order of $279.98 that many of you have been acquiring, and many of you are super excited about. And that gives you 50 BV, business volume. And it pays you $50 in what we call a fast start reward for encouraging a member to join. Because currently we have no customers. Our customers start in September. So this bonus I'm describing on this illustration, retail reward, is just the term retail reward because that's what we get paid from customers. But for us members who are bringing in members, it's called a fast start reward. But it's the same dollar value. It's the same business volume, and it's the same QV or qualifying volume. So look on the far right, and you'll see that for every $29.98 worth of items, there's approximately 20 QV or qualifying volume that's put into your left or your right leg, depending on where that person came from. And as I go through these charts, just know that they're adding all the time, and it's a monthly qualifying volume. And that's what moves you up the rank, not the amount of packages you sold, because we don't sell packages. We sell items and collectibles that people put in a treasure box or a time capsule and keep for the future. So as I look at this chart, notice that the QV is a bigger number than any of the numbers you see on the left, right? That's because we don't pay commission on QV. It's not commissionable. It's for rank advancement. So those of you that have been sending comments wondering about, okay, wait a minute, why am I not cycling more? And some of you don't even know what a cycle is, but I'm going to show you that today. It's because you're basing your cycling on business volume, not qualifying volume. So the number on the left is for paid out purposes. The number on the far right is for rank advancement purposes. So as I move forward to the next one, let's just talk briefly about in the compensation plan. It's clearly stated for all of you exactly what it is that qualifying volume is. It says this is the entire volume that accumulates on either your left team or your right team that commissions are not paid on. However, it does assist you to move up the ranks according to the QV requirements for each rank advanced. So as you're using your imagination to say, okay, how am I going to earn and with this company and learn to earn 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year? Well, you're going to want to build a team. Now, folks, let me stop myself right there. You do not have to build a team in Collect Direct to earn a commission. You may decide to buy a $9.98 once a year membership to be able to participate and share our Collect Direct Retail .com website with your username attached to it. And if somebody buys something from your website and you've loaded up your information, you will get paid a retail reward. Now, you won't get paid a dual team reward at this point because you haven't fulfilled anything to do with rank qualifications. You need to move up the ranks to start earning dual team rewards. So let's just talk about this illustration for a second. If I look at this, it shows a left team, IR, on the left and a right IR, and those IRs are starting to build their own left and right team, right? So every person on my left IR team is part of my business volume to get paid in the compensation plan, but they're also part of my qualifying volume rank advancement volume. They're the QV. So every activity that's generated in my left team, be it a customer or a member, does count for qualifying volume. It also counts for business volume. But the next part of it is PV. So let's talk about that for a second. So when I talk about personal volume, it's the effort that I make to fulfill my rank qualification needs, right? And the chart will say that you need 40 PV to 80 PV to qualify to earn your commissions on a monthly basis if you're building a team, right, of people, dual team and otherwise. So when I talk about PV and the qualifications, we're going to show you that again here today. Personal volume can come from your purchase, half of it. So 50% of your purchase counts. So if you're at a rank that says you need 80 PV, personal volume, then you can go and buy 40 of that because you're acquiring collections. That's your goal. That's your desire. But let's just say you encourage a new member and some customers to buy something and acquire something because they're collecting or they want to be in the business with you. Their purchase would count for your personal volume because it's personally enrolled by you. So it's connected. So it's important for you to know that the main personal also means your team members that you brought in. Now, if somebody else above you enrolls somebody in your left team below you, that is not personal volume for you. That is group qualifying volume. That is group business volume. So yes, you will get paid cycle pay on that, but it doesn't qualify you for the requirements of our rank. So it's important for you to understand that PV is acquired differently than just the BV. PV is your connection. Okay, so let's just keep going down the page here a little bit further and start talking a little bit about how do we get paid from the business volume in our trees. Okay, so BV being business volume comes from you and the team and the customer's volume in either your left or your right team. And when I show you this chart here, just to use your imagination, that left bucket of, let's count it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people. Those are individuals. They all generated, call it 700 business volume. And it came from a multiple of customer purchases, a multiple of member entries and people adding people, and there's 700 BV sitting there. And let's say on the right group of people, only 350 showed up in volume from customers. So here's the math. This is what this is showing you when we talk about 200 and 100. Remember, I said there's 700 estimated example on the left and 350 estimated example on the right. Well, 200 on one side and 100 on the other is what we call a cycle. So if you were to have 750, take 200 and divide it into 750, how many times does that go? 3. Well, that means your left, if your math is good, 3 times 200 is 600, but I said you had 750. Well, that 150 is carried forward. It's a carry forward volume. It doesn't flush. This is a non-flushing compensation plan for business volume. So that meant you had 3 potential cycle qualifying chunks on the left. I said on the right, in my example, you have 350. Divide 200 into 350, it only goes once. So you may have 3 potential cycles on your left, but your right only qualified you for 1, which meant you have no, sorry. I mean, one into the 350 gave you 3, right? So you had 3 from the 350 of the 100 buckets, and you had 3 of the 200 from the 750 on the left. What are you at? 3 times $20 is $60 in cycle pay. You had 3 cycles. So the extra 150 on the left stays there, and the extra 50 on the right that you never got paid in stays there, because it only pays you when you hit 200 or 100 in combined on the left and the right to get a cycle. So if you're not losing me here, I'd like to move on to the next slide, but I'd like to stop here for a second if somebody has a specific question on what I just said, so that we don't have to come back later. So stop right now. Anybody have a question on how you cycle based on the business volume on your left and your right?
Hey, Don, this is Sue Robinson.
Yes, Sue.
I may have missed it. I had to step away for a minute, but I'm not familiar with the customer volume. So let's just say I had 3 customers, total 100 BV. Where is that inserted in the pay plan?
Sue, excellent question. Thank you. So yes, your customers, as you'll see as I move down the slides, do not show up in your positional locations of your dual team, but their volume counts. Your customers go to your lesser team. So automatically the computer and the system throws the customer volume to your lower team. So for your example, Sue, if we had 50 volume from a customer that went into the right side of your tree and you were at 350 and that customer put you to 400, you have a potential to, at this case, be cycling 4 times. But the problem is, in my example of 750 on the left, I didn't have enough of the extra 200. So now the carryover would be a little different, wouldn't it? It would be it would be 200 sitting on the right and there's 150 on the left. Well, guess what happened? It cycles now left to right. So in other words, it looks either on the left side or the right side for these chunks of 200 and 100. It does not care if the 200 comes from the right or the 200 comes from the left. So our compensation plan picks all the time where the cycle comes from. So some of you may be cycling because your one leg's bigger than the other, and it doesn't matter. But as your customer volume populates into your lesser team, it may switch your cycle pay left and right to left. It doesn't matter. You're getting paid $20 for every time this image here happens in your tree. Sue, does that help you?
Certainly does. Just a continuation would be, if I have the customer with your 50 BV, am I the only person that's affected by that 50 BV, that benefits from that 50 BV?
No, because the group business volume does roll all the way up to the people above you as well. So
even for customers.
Even for customers, yes. Customer volume and member volume counts for your left or your right team for everybody above as a business volume for payouts of cycles. Yes, it does.
So if I have 40 IRs on the left showing, will that 50 customer BV be placed at the bottom of that leg? Or...
Yes. Thank you so much.
That's amazing. Wow.
Excellent question. Great. So Sue, the bottom line here is we are a customer-driven business, and we want our team members to understand that we're rewarding the organization for customer acquisitions. And so the volume will go all the way to the bottom of the lesser team that you're part of. So if you joined my right team, Sue, then everything you do is going to the bottom customer-wise of my right team, which means everybody I have in my right team benefits from your efforts driving customer volume.
That's fantastic. Thanks so much for explaining it, Don.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Anybody else got any specific question on this slide? No? Perfect. Okay, let's move on to the next one. So as we go into the whole concept of cycle pay, the next step is you've got to qualify, right? You've got to rank qualify to be a starter in our business. You don't buy a starter. You don't buy a collector or an influencer. You need to understand that you get rewarded as you move up the rank in different ways, right? But you can move up the rank based on your efforts, your customers' efforts, pushing the volume up, and your team members' volumes pushing you up and rank advancing. So the thing to note here is once you reach the starter rank, which I'll show you in a little bit what that takes, you can you have to understand that the amount of QV required and the amount of BV required changes as you move up the ranks. So if you think qualification now, remember, you need to, if you're going to earn as a starter or above, going back to the slide, to go back to a starter and above, right? We're saying starters and collectors and so on, you'll see in the chart, 40 PV has to be accumulated by yourself or your team from brand new people. Now that could be you buying, again, only half of the PV can come from you. What does that do for you? It lets you be active, but it also gives you the incentive to go out and encourage customer acquisitions. And that volume for personal volume does come from your brand new members as well that come on board, right? So if a brand new member joins and buys something, that business volume will count as PV for you. So BV and PV are similar in nature, except for PV is your efforts, BV is everybody's efforts. Okay, so there is a difference. So you can't count the PV based on the entire organization's efforts. You count it on the connected people to you. That's where PV comes from. So those are the actual requirement is PV, is you are making a effort to get them. So as we move through to the chart of rank qualifications and the requirements, this is where each and every one of you have to understand where one more expression here is EQV in chart 4. EQV. See where it says minimum EQV in each dual team. So let's take a look one at a time from left to right as a starter. What's my monthly requirement? I have to have 40 PV. If you want to earn money in the dual team starter commission bucket, you personally have to have generated 40 PV. But that 40 PV can come from your customers. That 40 PV can come from your members. So not as difficult as you think to get 40 PV, or you could personally have generated 20 of it from a purchase you made, because half of that. Now on the next level, it talks about QV. So that means, and read carefully here, it says minimum QV lesser dual team leg. Now, where it's confusing for some of you is it says lesser. What does that mean? A minimum of 40, but it could have one leg that's got 1,000 and the other one has at least 40. That's why we say minimum, right? So one leg's bigger than the other. That doesn't affect your pay. It just means your qualifying volume is growing bigger on one side than the other. But you have to, on column 4, have a minimum EQV. So I have enrolled somebody who generated qualifying volume, and a minimum of 10 is what that number has to be in both of my legs. Now, let me just explain, just so I can put the teacher hat back on, as I move back up the slides to this chart, and I think about me personally getting joined to somebody's left team, okay? And I bring in somebody on that left team, the very first person. That qualifying volume that I put there is an E-qualifying volume. It's my enrolled qualifying volume. So that's a contribution. But as I open up my right team, right, it's all me. So all of you have to understand that the team that you start by yourself, if you join somebody on the right, that's going to be a group that's being put in there with you and other people's efforts. But then you rotate your rotator to the left and you start building your team. Every one of those people will count as EQV, every one of them, because you are bringing in the first person who's bringing in the second person, and they're bringing in people and customers. So it's all EQV. One of your legs will always be entirely based on your connected volume. So when we start thinking a little bit further about what does it take to have a minimum EQV in each dual team, well, I'm pretty confident to say that one of your legs will be all you, but the other one will be built by people above you and other people that are put below you from above you. And that volume, yes, it does count as qualifying volume. So look at line 3, 40 QV to be a starter, but it's saying in line 4, I have to contribute a minimum that I've personally enrolled of somebody who gets 10 QV in EQV in one of that legs that I joined. There's the differentiator right there, folks. That tells you and everybody that ever looks at our compensation plan that you have to participate to earn money in our plan. You have to contribute something all the time, be it customers and your new members, to get what we call EQV in your dual team legs. Okay. Now, as you move and you start moving up the ladder to, let's just pick the home run collector. Well, let's go line by line. 80 PV is required for you to earn the commissions and the ability to earn the commissions as a home run collector. Where does 80 PV come from? 40 of it comes from your own purchases, if you choose, or all of it can come from your new customers and your customers' repeat orders. Now, that's a very important part of this plan. We want customers to constantly come back. So Dave's marketing team will constantly, as we go into the big heavy duty marketing efforts we'll make as we head into the final quarter and into 2024, we're going to be constantly saying, hey, take a look at what's new. On the front of the website, there's going to be some interesting things that are going to constantly share down the road, not right away, but soon. It'll say, hey, here's what's new. Hey, this just sold. Look what just sold. Look at these new items. We want people to keep coming back because this is a shopping mall of collectibles that the world is going to go completely gaga over. It's exciting. So think about that. We want customers to keep coming back. So guess what? That counts for your continual personal volume, those new customers and repeat customers. Where the difference is members are, that volume is going to come from new members. Okay. We're not going to let business volume or personal volume at this point be associated to repeat orders from your members as a purchase of some kind. Now, that could be tweaked because, as we've said all along, our compensation plan is always subject to change so we can make it better and better and better. Dave's philosophy is always to make this the best possible for our environment and our volume that we can generate and the amount that he's able to pay out from his compensation plan. What is August all about? Testing, looking at, seeing where the volume buckets are going, so that when we get to September and customers start, we're going to take that test again. How is it working? How is it flowing? How are people's volume generated? Is this plan working perfectly? Dave's philosophy will be always to give more rather than take away. So we're comfortable with what we have, but we're not saying that we can't even make this better. So just get ready as you hear more and more things happening over the coming months after the launch of our customer bucket. So for a home run collector, you need 80 personal volume, which means 50 of it can come from you, and 50% can come from you, and 50% of it can come from all of your team members, or all of it can come from your brand new customers or your members. 200 QV is what is combined for every bit of activity, regardless who put those people in there, whose customers they are. That 200 QV gets added up pretty quickly. Okay. And so you, though, as a home collector, have to contribute a minimum of 50 EQV, which means you had to have enrolled somebody who generated that qualifying volume for you to be considered a home run collector. What's the advantage of being a home run collector? Well, then you start opening up more levels of your unilevel pay. It helps you open up more levels of matching check pay, and it helps you obviously earn more cycle pay. So as we look quickly now and turn our hat to the unilevel, I want you to think about a little bit of what we were just saying a little earlier. Customer volume automatically disperses to either the left or the right team leg where it's needed to maximize earnings for the IR. Sue's question said, where do the customer's volume go? It goes to the lowest team volume, because Dave's philosophy is to maximize the opportunity for the independent representatives here, right? So as that happens, then more cycles can happen. And of course, people can rank advance. So as we go one step further here, let me just go back over here, and you start talking about levels. Well, level one in the unilevel is all of your customers. Level one in the unilevel is all of your personal customers. You can go as wide as you want. You could have 50, 60, 100 customers on level one earning you 5% of our unilevel volume associated to those items. And as I said, remember, Dave is loading volume buckets for every item in the shopping cart. So there is a amount of money that's associated to the retail rewards. There's amount of money that's associated to the business volume. There's amount of money or volume associated to the qualifying volume. And there's also amount of volume associated to the unilevel payout. So our first level is 5%. Now, as a member, I also get unilevel pay for my members. But as I bring in Bill and Bill brings in Dave, Dave's on my second level in my unilevel plan. Bill's on my first level. So I get 5% on what he generates in his order that month. So if Bill said, hey, I'm really excited about this, look at folks, we are a complete collectible company, but I'm going to pick a sports card that I know I want to acquire. Connor McDavid graded rookie card, plays for the Edmonton Oilers. I go out and buy that and it's $119. I know somebody's making a fast start reward on that, but I know there is a certain amount of volume that's attached to that. Maybe I find an item in my shopping cart for $279. Okay. That $279 generates what I know is 125 in the unilevel. So let's take a look quickly at that. Here is a sample order size currently that we know we can purchase as we get going here in August. It's $279.98 sample order size. Look at the third column there. And notice that the percentage that I'm paid on the ULBV, the unilevel business volume, is 5%. How much unilevel business volume am I getting credited for the 5% to be paid against? It's 125. How does Dave get to the 125? Well, there is a formula, but that formula can be slightly different for every item in the tree. Just know that the 125 is what the 5% got generated from. So I can earn $6.25 off of each and every sample order for my people that I personally enrolled that are actually what I would consider on my level one of my unilevel. Now, if one of my unilevel members brings in somebody and their front level, that means they're on my second level. That means I'm going to get 4% of 125, which is $5. Now let's stop right here for a second. Nobody has been paid a penny on the unilevel yet. Those of you that are getting your weeklies now on Thursdays, what the Thursday pays you is fast starts, and it pays you a dual team cycle, and it pays you a matching check if you are earning it by team members that are actually earning dual team checks. You're getting a matching check. The unilevel is paid once a month, the middle of the following month. Well, I think we've actually charted it to be the latest the 15th or sooner. So all of you right now have, if you've been bringing in sample order people and they're bringing in sample order people, you have a unilevel check coming to you in the middle of September based on this chart. Now, I see Patrick with your hand up, so go right ahead, Patrick. Let's see if I've covered what you were going to ask or if I can dig in a little bit more. Go right ahead.
Yeah, Don, first of all, you're doing a terrific job explaining all this. Thank you so much. If you can go back to unilevel slide, I have a question on that.
Okay.
Is there a compression feature built in with the unilevel?
Yeah, so if the person doesn't qualify below, it does roll up. And so we actually say that in our chart here, I believe. Oh, I'm sorry. There is some of that point right here. I might have left that one out. But if you look at your compensation plan document, there is a number of different explanations. And one of them does say that it will roll up.
That's terrific. Awesome. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else have a question on any of this that I've covered up to this point? No? Good. Yeah. The teacher in me is coming through. That's awesome. Okay, so as you look at this example, we've just given an example of the $279.98 because that's all that's available currently, right? And Dave has also announced that he's going to continue the sample program product offering in September, and those folks will get a free gift in the middle of October. Those that actually acquire their sample order in August will get the free gift in the middle of September. It'll be a different free gift, by the way. So he will announce that at some point, but all of you in the month of August and September can rest assured that you'll be recognized from the company as our initial sample founding members that said, hey, I want to get started here. I want to have some products to be excited with. I'd like to do my own box break, whatever. For those of you that understand the whole collectible industry, well, folks, you are never sure what's inside the golden ticket. You don't know when you open up a package what's in there. So if you were going to a Walmart and buying a box of something, there's no guarantee there's anything in there that's actually going to be of serious value, and you can never return that. Now, I just want you to understand something. Dave's philosophy here is pure and simple. We want to, and that's why he's giving you the free gift in the middle of September. He's giving you a bonus of an item that could be $2,000 to $3,000, one of them, in September, randomly selected. He'll do a similar sort of thing in October for those of you who buy in September. But in September, the shopping cart will open. And for those of you that are really excited about Collectorette, I know what you're excited about. It's the shopping cart. It's the customer acquisition. It's being in a business that's never, ever launched with 8,000 items on a shopping cart day one when it opens. That's where we're at today. I don't know of any company that has ever said, here's 8,000 items, go share it. And here's the beautiful thing, folks. If you're not a collector, we're all gift givers. There are going to be so many items in there that you could fulfill your holiday buying with, and you could buy things that could drive personal volume and continually to advance you in rank advancement from your customers doing the same thing. We believe the gift giving in our company will be absolutely one of the largest volume generators in our business. And I think that's what's going to drive us to the next level of our business adventure. So as I go forward here and stop the share, let me just say, I mean, look, my goal today was to cover PV, BV, and QV. And I hope I've done a good job of it. So let's just see where you guys are at from this, what was 35-minute overview on the compensation plan. And just remind you that next Saturday, that it will be Dave Jordan and his corporate team doing the Zoom. So anybody have a question specifically on the compensation plan that I can help you with for, say, the next 5 minutes? Okay, I see Buck.
I have one, Don.
Yeah, go ahead, Buck. I see you're up.
Oh, it's Buck. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, Buck. You gotta unmute yourself, Buck.
Yeah, Dave spoke up, so let him go first.
Okay, go ahead, Dave.
Okay. It's probably more of a not an overall, but a personal. Like I know 5 personally sponsored IRs that have ordered, and there's been absolutely no movement in my back office. So my question is, I'm sure they're still in the process of getting all of that updated and things like that. Is that an accurate statement? Because I'm not seeing any of that coming through just yet.
So have you actually got a fast start reward of $50 for any of them so far?
I've gotten 2.
Okay, so let's talk about how that probably happened. Remember, the cutoff date for our very, very first group was the 10th of August. So
Okay.
anything that happened fast past the 10th of August, you would get paid on what would have been the 17th, or what would have been the 20 this week, right? It would have been the 24th, I think, right? So if you were
Right.
to have had 2 of those members buy that in the 1st to the 10th of August, you would have got paid $100 worth of fast starts. Then you got to look at what the order dates were for your other 3. My gut says they're probably after the 10th. And so they may have happened between the 10th and the 17th, or between the 17th and the 24th. So if that happened between the 17th and the 24th, that $150 will be paid to you next Thursday. So it's based on a cutoff date.
Okay.
So cutoff date's Thursday, paid the following Thursday. So if you were to have brought somebody in on Friday of the week of the 10th, so in other words, on August 10th, somebody bought something, you would not get paid on the 17th. You would get paid on the 24th, because the cutoff date is always a Thursday. So that meant Friday, you had to wait till the following Thursday and then get paid the week after Thursday. So that's how the pay works on a weekly basis. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and so ultimately, these people may have said they put their order in, but they didn't. That type of thing, and or it was later than what they said.
Exactly. And there is a potential, I believe, to dig in and see who's ordered. You can actually click on that in your back office now and see where the volume is. And it actually will tell you a date, I believe, of where that will come from. Actually, that'll help you as well. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. That's all.
You're welcome. Okay. Go ahead, Buck. You're up now.
Yeah, Don, I had this question the other day and I didn't know how to answer it because, we're still in the startup, but, we get paid a fast start bonus on the first order of the person's first month. Is that correct?
Yes. So if you were to bring in me and I brought a sample package in the month of August, you would get the $50. Yes.
Okay,
If I was to go back in the month to September and buy another sample package, you would not get the $50, but you would get the larger volume of business volume.
right,
And the larger volume of business volume is what triggers the cycle pay to go quicker, the matching checks to get larger, but you'll still get unilevel pay. So unilevel pay is on all repeat orders. Fast starts are only on the first order. Now, for customers, you do get the retail reward every order. So if a customer comes back and buys another item, you get the retail reward. If they buy a $50 item, you get the retail reward. If they buy a $100 item, you get the retail reward. Customers, that's what we're always encouraged to do, is find customers that are looking for gifts and things to acquire for their own time capsules. So I see. Did that answer your question?
right. But I've got a tag question behind that.
Sure. Go ahead.
This person asked me, well, should we be penalized because the shopping cart's not open yet?
No. Yes, I agree.
I didn't know how to answer that.
Yeah. Okay. So yes, good point. So grandfathering the people in that are waiting to buy the shopping carts, but they actually bought a $9.98 membership. Yes, there will be no penalty there. You will get the retail reward on those purchases in September because
on their first order.
Their first order. Yes, you will get that. Yes.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Don. I appreciate you. And by the way, you should have been a math teacher, bro.
I might be a gorilla accountant. I'll say that much because I do get numbers, but I'm not somebody that loves to sit and do all the Excel spreadsheets. Okay, I see two more hands up. Go right ahead. Go ahead. Who's up first?
Yeah, Don. I wanted to ask you real quick. The rings in the dual team viewer, the rings there, how accurate are the colors? Because
they're not accurate. They're not accurate. That's in there's a number of different buckets that Chris, our coding department, have to rectify yet. And nobody's a triple diamond in Collect Direct yet. So the color's wrong. So there's nobody grandfathered in at any rank at all in this company. You've got to earn it, me included. I had to earn it. And I am seeing a number of different people advancing to influencer, home run, superstar collector. And there is a diamond in the company already, but I mean, we're not at that point to really publicly go out and talk about it. But I just want you all to know that everybody's earning it. They're not gifted it. Nobody gets gifted anything in Collect Direct.
One other quick question. Do you have any kind of time frame on the email notifications when somebody joins our group or our team?
Once again, it's part of the buckets that they're working through. There's a couple of other things that we're going to have where you can buy a second sample package. That's coming right away, because there are people that want to actually go out and buy another sample package. Watch for that. You're going to be able to do that. There are a couple of tweaks on the emails that are coming. Here's where I'm at right now. I'm so excited that, number one, people are getting paid. Number two, I'm so excited that there are emails now going out saying your order is shipped. There's tracking orders happening. I'm so excited that Canada's been shipped orders. Australia's been shipped orders. These are all things that took an absolute ton of work for Dave and his team to get done. And the coding and the web development to happen at the same time in this short time has been award winning in my mind. I'm just excited. I know what it takes to start a traditional company from the ground floor up. I've never could imagine the work goes into a network marketing company with this kind of compensation plan, with this kind of compliant effort of saying no loyalty, no auto ship, but go out and build a customer base and let them come back and reward you for the customers. I've never seen anything like this in my life. I'm blown away that we're at this point. I'm excited. I hope you are too. We're close to everything you're asking for sure.
I'm extremely thankful to be here, and I just want to say, for anybody on the call to confirm any of their suspicions, I'm already in profit here. So just so you know.
That's good. That's good words. And again, and we're not guaranteeing anything, but congratulations. You know, efforts work, right? I mean, you worked hard. You've been learning and earning. I've never seen you miss a Zoom, my friend. I've never seen you not ask the proper questions. And you're always the first one to put a thumb up to Dave and his team here. So good on you. Next person, go ahead.
Don, I have a, oh, excuse me.
And
Okay.
mention your name first, please, again.
You can go first.
Oh, okay, it's Coach John. Don, I have a question. The only other company I was with didn't deal with PV and stuff. I'm trying to a little bit conceptualize this. So PV is your efforts, BV is your team efforts, and QV is basically everyone's efforts on your team underneath you, whether they're on your team or not.
Correct. The only difference between the QV is that you have a requirement to have it brought people into one of your legs there, and we call that EQV, which is enrollment QV, your personal enrolled team members QV.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Okay. Go ahead, next person.
Yeah, Don, I need clarification on fast start bonus. Let's say hypothetically, somebody joins in August and just pays their $9.98, but in September, they decide to buy a package. Which one is considered the first order?
The actual order of the product will be their first order. The 998 does not count as their first order.
Fantastic, thank you. And I want to thank Dave Jordan, the corporate team, you and your lovely wife for all the support. This is the best thing I've seen in 35 years. Generous, balanced pay plan where everybody can make money if they put forth the effort. So thank you so much for everything.
Amazing, kind words. Thank you. It warms my heart. And I know Dave is probably sitting there right now, warming his heart, going, thumbs up, guys. You're doing a great job, team. Good for them. Next question.
Hey, it's Lori. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Lori.
Okay. There was a gentleman that asked how he could tell if somebody had paid their $50. If you go to your enrollment tree in the back office and you just, everybody's name is there and you just scroll down, there is a column for BV, and anybody that's actually paid for their pack, that column has 50 in it. So you can tell who's actually paid just by looking down that column and looking wherever you've got 50 BV, that means they have paid for their pack. Does that make sense?
Yep, that's perfect. And you know what? You and I have had a lot of communication the last little while. I hope today's Zoom helped you and your team.
It'll help me. My team says it's great. I only got to get on a couple minutes ago. I've got an eye infection. I couldn't even see to type it in. But I know you're taping it because that was my thing. I said, please say he's taping it. But yeah, but even Carol's already said it's much more clear now. So I know you're doing a good job.
Lori, let me just say, and I said this in an email I sent you because of for those of you that haven't yet, you can always email me at dcarson@excitedcollector.com, and I'll do my best to respond back to you as quick as possible. Customer service things are now being handled by customer service, but I have been sent some things that maybe I can go to the proper person ahead of time if you're not seeing the reply. But I understand they're replying now within 24 hours, so they're doing a great job. I've been hearing that. So, but other specific questions, always I'm open to send it to dcarson@excitedcollector.com. Not Don Carson, dcarson@excitedcollector.com. And Lori, you and I said the other day, and I said this to you, when the light bulb goes on, this will become easy. That's what
I agree. It's I think that a lot of people have a lot of experience with this kind of thing, but for those of us that have none or have it from 10 years ago, I mean, it's all Greek. It's like, well, it's like I said in my email, I've got BV, EV, QV, GQV, and other Vs that I don't even know what they are yet,
Yeah.
So
the beautiful thing is my wife has always said, Lori, she says, I don't even worry about the compensation plan because the company takes care of it.
That's why
And Nancy's here, but she didn't want to do, she's not the numbers person. So I'm gonna let everybody say hello to her at the end here.
I'm on the learning side of the computer today.
So she was actually taking notes.
I'm actually writing down. I'm going, okay.
I was looking at hats the other day, Nancy, and I thought of you. It was like, okay, well, Nancy wear this one because maybe that'll be a good choice.
That's cool.
Oh, I'll wear any hat.
Okay, so anybody else got any questions before we wrap up today? Go right ahead. No? Okay, guys, listen, it's been, my pleasure to dig in here a little bit more. There'll be more of this. There'll be more actual corporate trainings done at some point with lots of people. The most important thing is that we're in our setup month and you guys have been super patient, and I'm excited. I can tell you right now, October 26th, 27th, 28th, you do not want to miss that event in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, Dave is going to do a box break at that event live, and he's planning on podcasting it around for other folks to see. That sounds pretty exciting to me. And what his idea would be, we'll let him figure that out. But see you in Sioux Falls in the 26th, 27th, 28th for those you can make it. At this point, superstars and above are going to be the entry point, and Dave is going to reward those folks with a dinner and the entrance fee paid for by Dave Jordan and his wife Joyce. So this guy's a giver, folks. So hopefully you're paying attention that he doesn't want your money. He wants to help you all dream again. That's our goal. But again, you're not guaranteed, any of you, that you'll make a penny here. We have to say that. One more hand up I see, so go ahead.
Hey, quick question. It's a little bit off topic. I've been an independent distributor before. However, I was also being paid either a salary or an hourly wage. And since we are having to inventory our stuff, we're taking our time to do that. Can we count those hours that we're using as if we were working a traditional job as an expense? Because, like as an hourly wage.
Yeah, I see where you're going with this. Yeah. So listen, every country, every jurisdiction is different, but the biggest thing I will say is that you are entitled to tax deductible expenses that are reasonable. It's always called reasonable. There are people that get into these types of businesses that are not reasonable. They get on a vacation with their 3 kids to Hawaii and their wife or their husband, and they try to write their entire vacation off. I'm sorry, that's not reasonable. Right, if you are going to Hawaii to attend a conference and you're going there to recruit and build your team and legitimately try to expand your business in Hawaii, absolutely that's reasonable, and you could expense that within reason. Now, your accountant would tell you, could you do all of it, half of it, or whatever? In your expression of time as a job, question is, this is not a job. You are an independent representative. Okay. You are not an employee, have no obligation from the court, the company to pay you. That's why we always stress, we're not guaranteeing you make a penny here. It's your business. Right. So how you choose to track your time and what your accountant will allow you to do, you'll have to get that advice, because we can't give you that.
I mean, I know that, working from home as a remote, you can count a certain percentage of your square footage. You can also count your electric. I pay a lot fee, so there's a percentage of that, and it's all dependent upon the square footage, of your
and house. You're actually leading to one of our topics for the event in Sioux Falls. We want to teach people what it means to be in business. There is going to be an actual training done on exactly what you're saying, but it'll be very generic in nature. But we want everybody to understand that, yes, your business cards are tax deductible expense. Your phone bill is a tax deductible expense, assuming that you use it for business. It's all about reasonable, has to be reasonable. And there are books on this, by the way. There are great home-based business tax books done out there. You could acquire on Amazon or wherever. Yeah. Thanks for your question.
The other question that I have is, I know that you said there's only going to be a limited amount of people to be able to go to Sioux Falls. And we were given, if I get this right, 90 days to become a fast starter. Okay. But that event is before that 90-day cutoff. What if some of us are not in that fast start, but we're trying our hardest to get to that spot and we don't get to go to South Dakota?
Yeah, so let's go back a few months here, folks. We had lots of things in our compensation plan that were tweaked and changed. The 90-day, for example, has gone away. We don't have that anymore. This is being recorded. I'm glad that you asked that question. There are people out there that have commented on things we said 7 months ago, 6 months ago, and they have no clue what this company launched with, right? So fair is fair. Who are we? We are who we are based on August 1st, and we still said subject to change. So we want to make this better. So to the point of 90 days, no, your rank advancement level is your timeline. Your volume generated is your timeline. But I didn't mention this on the recording. It's still recorded, folks. QV goes away monthly. I have to say that. So qualifying rank is on a month-to-month basis. So all of the QV volume does go to 0 come September 1st. So you have to remember that it's all new QV volume. BV does not flush. QV does. Okay? So I had to get that out there, so I didn't mention that earlier.
Okay.
Anybody else
Okay.
before we sign off?
Thank you.
You're welcome. No? Okay, well, you guys have a great rest of your Saturday. Thanks for joining me. Let me turn this recording off.
You too.
We'll see you on Wednesday at 8 o'clock Central Time.